Speak your truth and be heard on the Eagles Morning Rise, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eagles 102.3 FM, your radio experience you can count on. From Milky Way to you can with Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Look onto our website, www.eaglesfm.com. Follow and engage with us now on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok at Eagles FM Abuja, Instagram at Eagles FM 1023. Download our Android and iOS stores. Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, the radio experience you can count on.
All right, a very good morning. Welcome. All right, a very good morning. Welcome back. This is Eagles Outlook, where we talk politics and current affairs. You might as well want to gather around and tell somebody about the Eagles Morning Rises breakfast shows, Eagles Outlook. And just to also put it out there that you can as well have an audio-visual radio experience that you can always trust, you can count on anytime, any day. When you get onto the YouTube channel at Eagles FM Abuja, do well to hit the bell button right there, subscribe, and leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know that you came, you saw, and you are soaring with us. Do the same with the Facebook page wall at Eagles FM Abuja, and leave a comment too in the comment section. And as well, give us a like and a following. That way, you will not miss or miss out on any information or post that we put out there for your information, for your education, for your entertainment, and general knowledge. My name is Uduak Daniel, and this morning, we will look into the fact that Nigeria's stability is under threat. Our stability in Nigeria, in this country of ours, is under threat. Oh yes, it is, because the federal, there's been so much going on in view of this matter. So I'll just get into it very quickly, very quickly. Let's just jump into it already, right? So as it stands, the Nigeria Labour Congress, the NLC, has sounded the alarm on the country's economic situation. And they are citing the heavy taxation. They are citing the low wages and rising national debt as threats to Nigeria's economic and democratic stability. The NLC president now, Joe Ajaero, urged the federal government to reconsider the new tax laws and engage with organized labor. Now, Ajaero emphasized that the tax laws were crafted without input from workers and the poor. And these are the major taxpayers. He described the laws as regressive, burdening those living in poverty. I mean, the NLC is calling for the government to constitute the National Pension Commission, that is the Pension Board, and address the concerns on the tax law. However, on the other hand, Adams Oshomole, who is a former president of the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC, as well as a current and serving senator, has urged the NLC to engage with the federal government over the new tax laws. I mean, he turned to emphasize that minimum wage earners are exempt from taxation. He also went on to advising the NLC president, that's talking about Joe Ajaero, to fight for workers' rights if he believes the laws are unfair. In fact, Oshomole stated that lamenting about the tax laws would not stop these tax laws from taking effect. Instead, he said, Ajaero, look, what you've got to do is organize and fight for workers' rights. That's what you should do. In fact, Oshomole went further to highlight that the tax laws are subject to amendment, just like the minimum wage benchmark was negotiated. In his words, and I quote, he says, the lesson of Sonomu is if it is wrong, fight it. If you know it, that's the tax laws is wrong, fight it. Don't just go about lamenting about it. So Oshomole has criticized the notion that the minimum wage is a benchmark for responsible employers. He went on to stating that it meant to protect vulnerable workers. In fact, he urged workers to organize and fight against injustice, poverty, and bad governance. Then again, going back to the NLC is warning, is coming as the country is grappling with the economic challenges that we face already. The organization is reflecting the growing concern among Nigerians about the impact of economic policies on our livelihoods. Now, what do you think the federal government should do to address the NLC concerns, especially when it has come to this? Should the NLC consider alternative measures to push for reforms, or rather continue to protest and advocate for change? Should they do so, the question again will arise, how much of change have we seen with the minimum wage? Or remember what went down concerning the minimum wage? Recall the protests, the standoffs, recall the court orders here and there that flew everywhere, those arrested and everything, and at the end, from 250,000 naira minimum wage, we arrived at 70,000 naira minimum wage, and the NLC decided to sheath their sword. And this is against the backdrop of backlashing, because Nigerians now began to backlash the NLC. The propaganda was high from the government. And here we are. How many states and organizations can pay the 70,000 naira minimum wage when you look into the economic woes and realities that we face? But Oshomole is saying, NLC, rather than bark, rather than lament, go into lamentation, thread the pathway of the very first NLC president, who was celebrated by Obasanjo and quite a number of big names, talking about Somunu at 85. Thread that path. If you believe it is wrong, address it, fight it, tooth and nail, however you can. Don't just sit back there and make it look like a tea party conversation, and yet you're talking about how the economy is affecting the lives of workers, Nigerians. That will only be lamentations upon lamentations. Now, the Nigeria Labour Congress is warning that a combination of heavy taxes, low wages, rising national debt is posing a serious concern, is posing a serious threat to Nigeria's economic democratic stability. So the NLC President George Aero is urging the federal government to urgently, as a matter of urgency, rethink the new tax laws, re-engage organized labor. Now, you should recall that in July of 2024, the federal government increased the national minimum wage from 30,000 naira to 70,000 naira. However, the NLC is arguing that inflation and rising cost of fuel and food have eroded these gains, telling the federal government that although you increased it to 70,000 naira from a measly 30,000 naira, the gains that this was supposed to bring about has not been forthcoming. So here we are faced with economic challenges. Here we are faced with failing oil income and rising debt. Here we are grappling with other matters concerning even insecurity on the other hand. And all of these are persisting pari passu, yet side by side. And on top of that, rather than think about how we can get it rightly and see how we can indeed add some value to the lives of Nigerians, we are still looking into how to tax Nigerians, according to the NLC. That in fact, Nigeria is under threat. Our stability is under threat. But then again, when we look at all of these things, especially as put together by the NLC, some Nigerians and family members will say these are not new things. Some would even question where was the NLC when the tax laws were put together and Mr. President made huge promises and told us how this tax laws will benefit the poorest of the poor, or the poor, low-income earners, so to speak. Where was the NLC? Or are they just coming to the realization that all of these factors, as they have mentioned, and we know already, has put Nigeria in a high-risk stability? But some would also say that better late than never. Someone has got to say it. Probably this is why the NLC is adding his voice now and talking about these and bringing it to the fore, telling the federal government that we are warning you now that Nigeria's stability is under threat. That if you don't do the needful to revisit the combination of heavy taxation, the low wages that we kept on talking to you about, that look, we have to increase this. We pegged it at 250, in fact, it's to 400,000 naira. It started coming down gradually, 300 and something, 250. And then suddenly, it got to 70,000 naira. And I think it was about 100 and something before. But the federal government said it's 70,000 naira. And now even with the 70,000 naira, the same workers that you fought for, which quite a number of Nigerians believe you're not even fighting for the entire Nigerian populace. Just the workers. has still not been paid that amount. But we'll get in touch with our guest now. Sir Benedict Olaleko Agunloye is an information professional, and he will add his voice in the discourse this morning. Good morning and welcome to the discourse this morning.
Good morning.
Yes. Here we are again. A wake-up call, should I say, or an already existing call, not new to Nigerians. The NLC is saying that Nigeria's stability is under threat. Joe Ajaero putting it out there. Oshomole is giving a kickback and telling the NLC president that rather than lament, take up all of the measures that you know to correct, to get the government listening. Follow the steps of Somonu, who was the first NLC president ever that we had, celebrated at 85 years old now. Take that step. If it is wrong, fight it. If you know it, that the tax laws are wrong, fight it. Do not lament. But we've seen how vicious the NLC's fight has been with federal government over in recent times. And we have also seen the feasible outcomes pertaining the minimum wage that started from around 400,000 naira and ended at 70,000 naira. And even at 70,000 naira, we have still not been able to pay 70,000 naira up until now. Yet we've seen how politicians and those in very, very key positions are enjoying arrears left, right, and center, up until newspaper allowance that is even above the minimum wage in itself, in a country where we keep talking about cutting the cost of governance. I mean, Sir Benedict, talk to me. Talk to the family. What do you think about all of this?
Well, I don't think when you say people are enjoying money, it's not just politicians alone.
Okay.
What vehicle are the labor union leaders riding? Are they not all running on SUV?
Wow.
Their official vehicles are all SUV. So whether in government or anywhere, leaders, and I think most of our leaders are not working in reality of their people. There is a dissonance, right? There is a dissonance. The reality of the masses does not resonate with the leaders almost at all levels, whether in religion or outside the religious circle, whether in the civil society or in politics or in unionism. It's practically almost the same approach. So I don't think that should become a basis of reference for them talking about this. When you come to the tax law, these things are data. Let's sit down with data. Let Ajaero tell us, in the time past, or under the previous tax administration, who was paying what and how much was each person paying. In new administration, who will be paying what? And then we can now compare and contrast and be able to come to that conclusion whether the new law is making the people poorer or not.
Okay.
I think we need to know this fact that there are a lot of people who are not paying tax at all, who should be paying but are not paying. And so for that reason, such individuals or such organizations will prefer that any law that will bring them to the table to start paying is frustrated. So, and they will use people to frustrate it. Some of the people being used to frustrate the law do not even understand what they are talking about. They are just sounding like vuvuzela or trumpet. It is what you blow into them that they are blowing out. But for someone in the class of Ajaero, he should not be making general statements. He should be making specific statements. What category of workers are going to pay more? What are the inclusions in the new tax regime that he thinks is not acceptable? So let's go for the specific, not a general vagrant wide latitude condemnation of the process. I don't think that is progressive. A progressive approach would be sit down, analyze the document, and tell us precisely the areas that you object to and why you think such areas should not stand. But to give an wholesome outright condemnation of the entire tax law, I don't think is good enough. Yes, he is representing the workers, and the union should fight for what we call the welfare of its members. But some of us would always insist it is because there is a house. That's why you can think of taking a room in the house. If the building becomes knocked down for maybe lack of proper maintenance, everybody would eventually have to look for new shelter, and that may not be very easy. So, as somebody who represents the workers, there should also be the focus on what do we do to get health for the system. While you are defending the welfare of the workers, you must also be preserving the health of the system. Because if the system becomes unhealthy, the workers cannot be promoted. I've seen companies collapse, and some of them owe workers so much money, and the workers don't even have anywhere to run to go and protest. This is how much they are owing me. There are companies who have made deductions for tax, made deductions for pension, and never remitted them to anywhere. But companies are gone under, and whatever contribution they have deducted on behalf of those staff were never paid. How is the labor union able to help such individuals today? I'm not sure there is a defined complaint desk for that. So it is important that the companies and the organizations continue to exist for you to correctly protect and preserve the welfare of the members. So the welfare of the member is important, but the health of the organization is also important. So everyday strike, everyday knocking down this process, knocking down that, has not helped the economy to move forward. And if the economy cannot move forward, then it doesn't matter what the individuals earn, they will eventually still suffer the consequential losses.
So you're saying
when you have to
so you're saying that the NLC is also a part of the problem? Is that
sure?
They're part of the problem why Nigeria is Nigeria's stability is under threat?
There is no doubt about that. Whether the petroleum sector, the electricity sector, you are going to find affiliate members of the NLC here. The NUPEN, the Pengesan, do they have people in the refinery that are not working? Don't they earn salary? Have some of them not worked for 25 years without producing anything, and today they are earning pension, and we are still fighting for better pension for them? So what we're saying is responsive civil unionism should focus on the welfare of the members is paramount and is important.
No,
but how do you support that welfare if the organization is not healthy?
Well, one of the things that the NLC mentioned was low wages and rising national debt. It was not just about the heavy taxation. And if we are to go by what you just said, low wages is also part of it. It's also a focal point. Rising national debt is also a focal point. Would we say that it is the NLC's fault in that regard, that they've also contributed to these?
Well, I'm not saying it's totally the NLC's fault. But what I'm saying in essence is that the NLC needed to look at things more broadly. They need to bring in an helicopter vision into space. Okay. What do we need to do to fix the system? So at all times, when you are making your demand, you want an increased salary. Where would the salary come from if there is no increased revenue? So what do we do to ensure that there is an increased revenue. Everywhere in the world, people pay tax. But when you go out there, and sometimes you complain about something, other people in a certain country I visited, the guy said, you guys don't pay tax in Nigeria. I think I look at the value of the power pack for a laptop, and by the time he will issue the invoice, I saw what he's producing. And he said, no, here VAT is 22.5%. At that time, VAT in Nigeria was only 5%. They said, don't worry, you guys don't pay tax in the country where you are coming from, so I can understand why you are complaining. So basically, we are not saying it must be taxed, but what do we do to improve revenue? If the revenue does not improve, how do you increase salary? Or are we going to begin to continue to borrow to pay salaries? The answer is no. It's not sustainable.
So
borrowing to pay salary is definitely not sustainable. So to an extent, the internally generated revenue in the state should take care of their salary. If it cannot take care, then they need to do something more in that environment to ensure that locally they are doing more. Otherwise, if you need loan and federal allocation to pay salary in the state, too bad. You end up having is that there will be no developmental project. They just allocation pay salary and that is over. But I don't think that is good enough for the future of any state, for the future of any society.
Right, let's put a peg to your thoughts. Just take this very quickly. Hello, good morning, though.
Hello, good morning, Duadanda.
Good morning to you, please. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Comrade Salis. I'm calling from Suleja.
All right, comrade, let's have your thoughts straight to the points. Let's get it.
For me, I disagree this morning with the man there.
All right, go ahead. Why?
Because the labor union have no problem on this issue.
Okay.
When a government, first of all, the president, this government, come for fuel subsidy. And the say is gone. The money of fuel subsidy, nobody know how they are using it to. And at the time they bring fuel subsidy is gone, they never invite the labor union. They sit down and discuss with them. They go and direct from Eagle Square and say fuel subsidy has gone. That's how to play government. This labor union is the way, is to stand for welfare of the workers in the country. It's not only even the government, workers, they are interfering everywhere. So these people are very important. Labor union are very important to call them in order and discuss with them in the right table. So any government, this civilian government, they never care to call labor. Now you are putting the tax in this country. One of the money you actually are collecting, you are collecting fees. Where the money?
Okay.
No food hospital in this country. No good power, electricity in this country. No good education in this country. No good road construction. Everything already is bad. Everything is bad in this country. And you are telling us that they are going to put the tax again. This tax, what is going to work? That's the problem. You know about tax in the country. When you are going to a foreign country, they are quality tax. Yes, their country, they have a good road, good hospital, good everybody are big men, they are going to enjoy it. And they are looking at one today to develop another foreign country.
Okay. All right. Thank you, comrade. Thank you, comrade. Can't go any further right there. And you also want to add your voice in the discourse. You can call the number and stick to this number, 0907 353 0044. Taking this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Barista.
Good morning to you, my brother. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yes, and I greet our guest.
Turkey. Oh, Felix. Okay, Felix. Felix, you might want to speak into your phone. Your voice is far from the phone.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me better now?
Okay, fair. Go ahead.
I think the powers of food and music. Well,
Yes, please.
you see, the gap between the rich and the poor is so much that no matter what they do, it will be difficult for the poor to feel the positive impact of whatever is happening. And again, too, you cannot build on a faulty foundation and expect the building to stand and not collapse.
the foundation we are building on is very false. And until the foundation is destroyed and reconstructed, we'll continue to lament and we'll continue.
So, Felix, quick one. What is the foundation?
Yes.
What is the foundation we're building on?
The foundation is this. From the beginning, our taxation system, we have never gotten it right.
Okay.
Until the process and the stakeholders are able to put their heads together and get it right. A situation where you are generating revenue and the revenue is not getting to the appropriate quarter for its usefulness, of what benefit would that revenue be? In Nigeria today, almost every politician is an institution to himself. And money are collected and end up in individual pockets.
Right.
If you go to the working places, some of these vouchers are raised for whatever deductions. You never see those who are responsible for these things collecting them. But somebody will see cash out those vouchers into his own personal account. Where is this done? And then you expect progress to be.
All right.
You don't have to generate revenue.
All right, Felix. Yeah.
The system is porous. Until the system is corrected,
Okay.
we'll continue to lament for eternity.
All right. Well, until the system is corrected, we will continue to lament for eternity. And Comrade Salih also mentioned the fact that where are the monies of subsidy going to? What quarters is it going to? Well, we will take a timeout. And when we do come back from this timeout in a timing, we will indeed try to see where these monies of fuel subsidy gains have been channeled into, and of course get to also hear from our guest in view of the topical issue this morning. This is Eagles Morning Rises Breakfast Show. This is Eagles Outlook, the political and current affairs probe show on this very dial. Don't go away.
No offense to the commercials. It's just that we want to see other audio.
Eagles 102.3.
There's so much more to enjoy when you fly in Emirates Economy. More legroom, delicious regionally inspired meals, complimentary free-flowing drinks, and the latest movies, TV shows, music, and live sport. Some of the best entertainment in the skies. And our family services make your journey simple and fun. Plan your next trip and start the holiday early in Emirates Economy. Fly Emirates, fly better.
Powell Homes and Shelters Limited, a real estate company. We be Baba for properties. Our properties natural best.
Please listen to this important infomercial. It's Powell's time on radio. Abuja, Powell Homes and Shelters Limited has come with a vision of transforming housing through innovation, style and integrity. At Powell Homes and Shelters Limited, we deliver affordable luxury, comfort and reliability in real estate. We offer genuine lands, elegant homes, modern designs and plans to make your dream home a reality. Visit us today and experience you can trust. Address is number 52, Suez Crescent, Abacha Estate, Wuse Zone 4, Abuja. You can call us on telephone number 081-510-20000 or 080-925-70000. The number to call us once again is 081-510-20000 or 08096700000. Now let's hear what your sister and veteran Nollywood actress Patience Ozoko Mama G has to say about this company.
My people, my name is Patience Ozoko, popularly known as Mama G. G for General. Do you want to buy genuine lands and other properties and need a brand you can trust? Think Powell Home and Shelters Limited. With a reputation built on honesty and reliability, we ensure your investment is secured. Our team of experts is dedicated to providing personalized service tailored to your needs. Join countless of satisfied customers who have found their dream properties with us. For inquiries, please call 0815 102 0000 or 0809 257 You can get your property from any part of Nigeria. Think real estate, think Paul.
Thank you, Mama G, for that wonderful talk. Remember, our office is at number 52, Swiss Crescent, Abacha Estate, Wuse, Zone 4, Abuja. We also have branches in Enugu, Owerri, Oka, and Asaba, and Nairobi. Think real estate, think Powell.
Powell Homes and Shelters Limited, a real estate company. We be Baba for properties. Our properties national.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Things they are for our community,
Now I recoup back all the money I have spent on this annoying family.
Hey, yeah, that woman own don't finish.
Let's go and greet them, okay?
Hey! Join Media Coalition and Awareness to hold trafficking, MICAS, on I Wish I Knew radio drama and program every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Join us to kick human trafficking out of our society. I Wish I Knew radio drama and program is brought to you by MICAS and funded by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Denmark.
Nigeria's stability under threat, and this is a time in from that time out, and that's looking at on this very hour. Right here on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. And our guest, Sir Benedict Olamilekon Agunloye, is already putting his words into it and putting his voice into it. And family members are really talking about it. Oshomo has given a reply to the NLC President, Joe Ajaero, where he had come out to saying that low wages, talking about heavy taxation, especially citing the tax laws. Fight it. Fight it. Don't just go on lamentation spree. Fight it. Take up all measures that you can and fight it, bring it to a standstill, but it has to be within the ambience of reasonability, right? You've got to be reasonable with it. It has to be something that you've researched into, you have discovered the gray areas, pointed it out rightly and clearly for clarity's sake, and then fight it. Fight it. It's your right. Don't just come out and make lamentations. Don't also forget that Adams Oshomole, one time, this message coming from my dear friend and brother Samuel all the way from Kuje, sending greetings right there to the guest. It says, do we really have a labor union in this country that are for the interest of Nigerian workers? I ask this question because the labor leaders we have today are not fighting for the interest of Nigerian workers, but for their own personal interests. So I ask again, what is the use of having labor union that the leaders are hobnobbing with the people in authority that are making anti-people policies? Have a great and wonderful day. Well, let's get back with you, Sir Benedict, as we go conversational this morning, though. Sir B, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Quite a lot of conversation. Yeah, going on. Talk to us.
Yeah, I've listened to some of the speakers.
Yes.
And let's come up with this. If there are no data, is it the fault of the president or the fault of the workers?
In which sense? In what sense?
No data. One of them said there are no data. There are no this, there are no that. It is the workers, the members of the union that keep the records.
Oh.
So if the records are not available, it is not the fault of the politicians, it is the fault of the workers. In private organization, if the data records are not available, it is the fault of the workers, not the fault of the board. If roads are not well supervised, it is members of the Senior Staff Association who are on the road to monitor it, not the minister, not the president. So what we are saying is this. It is okay to point out the errors of the leader, but those who are on the job should also do their duties. They should do their duties. Do not turn bricks to culvert on the road when the road is under construction and expect that the road will last. That will not be something that the president or the minister supervises directly. That should have been the function of the desk officers, the project managers, and the rest of them who are on the job. So I am not saying it is the duty of labor to fix the nation. No. Labor should represent their members and seek for welfare. But I'm saying that if the institutions are not healthy, then the welfare of the workers cannot be guaranteed.
Right.
So yes, money being shared to the state, right? The money possibly had not been judicially utilized in the opinion of many. But the state national state house of assembly do action. And those questions goes beyond just looking at the top at every time. So we are saying, let's look at these records. Let's look at what gaps there are. Let's come up with what is needed to close the gap. It doesn't matter who is in charge. If the ideas are there freely, and you are not going to pay a consultant for doing nothing, then you will realize that those you have put in charge will do well. And like I said, and I still insist, union leaders in Nigeria are running forerunners SUV, just like the people in government. So they cannot deny opulence. They cannot deny living in the.
Well, anyways, we're still taking your calls. We want to hear from you already. You already heard what Sir Benedict is saying in his opinion, saying that, look, as much as we want to point the accusing fingers at the president, at the ministers, at the governors and all of that, that even the workers are complicit one way or the other, because they're still the ones who hold data. And when data is unavailable, how then do you blame Mr. President, who sits in some, on his seat, on his stool, for such, a misappropriation or mismanagement, or for such unwarranted circumstance? Do you blame Mr. President for that? Do you blame the minister for that? You still blame the workers, because they're the ones who are sitting at that helm to handle and decide matters of concern to that. Now, hello, good morning. Hello? All right. Are you there? Okay. Honorable, can barely hear you.
Yeah. I think I did our guess.
Yes.
He said everything. Let me tell you something. This LSC, they should not be taking us back.
Okay.
They should be taking us back. Some of us are looking at them as they're looking to enrich themselves. Because they were totally invited to the National Assembly to public hearing. Does it mean they were not invited? So these people, I think they are using the jails now to get whatever they want. So they should stop taking us back. You know that if our leaders are not doing well, that doesn't mean a union who's supposed to be in the position to help us to increase the more problem.
Right.
I think that is my advice.
NLC should stop taking us back, and stop using this medium to enrich themselves one way or the other. Medium to enrich themselves one way or the other. Okay. Get that. Appreciate Honorable. All right. I says message here now is coming from Tekimbi Hundu from Nasarawa State. It says, no doubt during Adams NLC was vibrant, but not anymore. One I expected the NLC to do better is the minimum wage issue, which is to cover the many Nigerian anymore. One I expected the NLC to do better is the minimum wage issue, which is to cover the many Nigerian workers in the private sector still earn 20,000 naira monthly in this harsh economy. Anyone employing workers who can't pay minimum wage of 70,000 naira should forget about it. All I can see that subsidy removal favor the poor, Tekumi is saying there. And let's see, I told you I was going to bring two. I mean, they've been allocated and spent in various ways. The removal of fuel subsidy has led to increased monthly disbursements from the Federation Account Allocation Committee FAC, with allocations tripling from 760 billion naira in 2023 to 3.2 naira in 2024. So now let's look at very quickly the breakdown. Federal government has got a significant portion, and it goes to the federal government for infrastructure development, education, healthcare, and other priority areas. Okay, that's from the federal government, stance. For the state governments now, they received increased allocations, with some states seeing a 45.5% increase to 5.22 trillion naira. Local governments also benefit from the increased allocations as well. And now there's been specific projects, they call it infrastructure, 1 trillion naira allocated for infrastructure development, student loans, funds allocated for student loans through NEL Fund. So this is also part of the things that they spend on. Education now, infrastructure. We see 20 trillion naira allocated for infrastructure development for student loans now, education. Right? Now saying that they've also allocated monies in that regard. Agriculture and solid mineral is another way that these monies have gone into, substantial allocations being made to these sectors and all. But there are concerns about the transparency and accountability of these allocations. I mean, some arguing that the benefits haven't reached the average Nigeria. And could this also be why the NLC is coming out here to talk? Right? Could this be why they're also saying that, look, hey, federal government, all of these things and the gains and the proceeds and everything that you've mentioned, understandably so. We see that you collect these monies, heavy monies, we're seeing more revenue in this time and all of that, but as it trickle down to the poor in terms of infrastructure, in terms of the same nation, in terms of the same healthcare that you made mention of, which, of course, cumulatively, if you put it all together, is supposed to size the life of an average Nigerian, and we don't see that happening. And now you've introduced taxation. And Honorable Edwards made a very strong point. I mean, you were invited, NLC, you invited when tax laws were still being put into consideration. Asking for a reinvestment. Well, how sensible is that? Get back with you, Sir Benedict. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. So these and many more are the matters on ground. I mean, we have seen the subsidies gone, all the revenues and the gains and the proceeds of subsidy. The federal government has said that it will be going. In fact, it's been going into full infrastructure development, education, healthcare, priority areas, and Nigerians saying we don't see it trickle down. State governments are saying, oh, we have now had 5 times what we used to have before. And I remember a particular state governor, Nasarawa state governor, or is it Niger state now, telling his other governors, you don't have any reason to complain. There is money for you to work, so work. Now, we've also seen the matter that concerns local governments work on it the way they want to and all that. I mean, with all of these, especially with this subsidy gains, what are your thoughts still? Because some are still saying that, look, with subsidy alone, we should have been able to see the gains already. Our lives should have been better. But here we are. Are our lives better? Are we in a state of stability in this country?
Well, to start with, I would say you don't solve production at them. So more money becoming available to the state will automatically translate to better life for the people. But we need to look at this money, how are they spend? Are the governors spending this money outside budget provision? If yes, what is the state? What are the various state assemblies doing to checkmate that? What are the inputs going into the budget of each state, and how well executed are these budgets? And like I will continue to say, the money from the CBN or the OAGS directly to the governor's pocket. Okay. It goes into accounts. Yeah. Member of NLC or members of the youth. Yes, you will say there are interference, but I don't think that it is interference alone that is responsible for the low productivity that we have. And so we will be looking at governors becoming more responsible budgeting, the budget becoming more open. Let let people know what the budget, and then let them monitoring here and there, and people can say this road that is being done as happened. This school will be what happened at the same, and everybody sees that we will not get required results. Why? Because we are not putting in the required and right effort to get results we desire. And I think that is where it goes for me. All hands on deck from neighborhood organizations. Everybody will consider himself as maybe a member of the people right or an advocacy organization. We should all be involved in the government not spending outside budget position. And in ensuring when